storm track up here to the north. These showers and thunderstorms are moving from the north and west down to the south and east, and that's what we have to watch for later on today. Showers and thunderstorms late this afternoon through the early evening hours. All the Tennessee Valley under a slight risk for severe weather. That's the yellow. The orange, that slight risk is slightly enhanced in southern middle Tennessee, Lincoln, Giles County, over toward Moore and Franklin counties, and northeast Alabama, especially around Stevenson and Bridgeport, up around Higdon. You have a chance of seeing some very strong thunderstorms later this afternoon. Here's the timeline. By 4, 5, 6 o'clock, that's when some of those stronger thunderstorms press on through. And any of those storms could produce strong gusty winds and some large hail. By tomorrow, perhaps some early morning showers and then a clear sky. Temperatures may not be quite as hot on Wednesday afternoon.
Now, your WHNT News 19 weather where you live forecast with Chief Meteorologist Jason Simpson.
The severe thunderstorm warning for Lincoln County has been extended now until 5:45. We've got a very intense storm close to Boones Hill that is moving southeast in the direction of Fayetteville. So let's get right to the radar. Here it is, an intense line of thunderstorms from now the north side of the Chattanooga metro area down through Fayetteville over to Waynesboro and Savannah. And everything you see here is moving to the east-southeast at about 30 miles per hour. So let's focus here on Lincoln County, and we'll turn this over into 3D mode. And look how tall that storm is. That is pushing 60,000 feet. That's coming right over Highway 64 here in just a matter of minutes in the western side of Lincoln County. In fact, this is Highway 64 here. There's Boones Hill, and then right over here, the community of Frank Ewing in Giles County. A lot of lightning in here, and sometimes when we see this kind of lightning jump in thunderstorms, they can be producing some very significant wind. So if you're up here around Boones Hill, south of Highway 64, down in the direction of the Molino community, Highway 110, and then over into Fayetteville, take this pretty seriously because the wind may be as much as 70 miles per hour in here. That's enough to knock down trees. If you're in a mobile home, not the time to really abandon that mobile home and go somewhere else at the moment, but just kind of hunker down in there and wait for this thing to pass over before you really get out and about too much. Same thing in eastern Giles County, the Beach Hill, Frank Ewing community, Bunker Hill, everything up and down I-65 from the Highway 64 exit south. This thing is going to come barreling in on you too. It's missing Pulaski, but we've got some heavy storms northwest of Pulaski now over to Lawrenceburg and into Wayne County, and now some new development in northwestern Lauderdale County too. The storm track on this is going to take these storms that are north Mississippi into northwest Alabama within the next, let's say, 90 minutes to 2 hours. In Florence, we're still close to 2 hours away from those getting there. Same thing around Belgreen, may just be a touch past 2 hours from now, so a little after 7 before they get into Russellville. These storms, though, could impact Florence before that, maybe within the next hour. So we'll have 2 waves of thunderstorms crashing through the shoals here within the next 2 hours or so. Our futurecast running just a tad ahead, so imagine that this line is a little closer to the state line at 6 p.m. By 5:45 to 6 o'clock, I think the state line is where the strongest of the storms will be. They'll be pushing on to the south. By 7 o'clock, they'll be south of Highway 72, and then by 8 o'clock, they should be in about that position right there. So coming through Arab and Albertville and Fort Payne through about 8 p.m., and then once we get past this, we should start to calm down later tonight. Small chance of some scattered showers, an isolated thunderstorm or two through the first part of tomorrow morning, and that will be it. They're moving south as we speak. Let's look at the radar quickly, and you can see Central and Rogersville very well could be gusting upwards of 50 or 60 miles per hour very soon. So the yellow box there, that is the severe thunderstorm warning. It includes downtown Huntsville. It includes Hazel Green. It includes Tony, Athens, Woolly Springs, and throughout the remainder of the evening, storms like this are the ones that we'll have to watch for some very strong winds. The potential is there for some hail associated with them too. A lot of lightning coming with this as well. It's moving to the southeast at 30. That means it's going to be passing through Madison by 6:30 and coming on through Huntsville shortly after 6:30. Next severe thunderstorm warning on the list is for Stevenson and for Hollywood. This one is moving southeast toward Highway 72. We've noticed on radar at least that the wind within this is somewhere in the neighborhood of about 60 miles per hour just off the surface, which translates closer to 50 down at treetop level. So some trees could be coming down there. There's all the heavy rain and storms coming into downtown Florence very soon. And as everything you see here on radar is moving to the southeast, it's not going to last all evening. But that is what it looks like in Florence. Moments ago, you saw that dark shelf cloud come overhead. Heavy rain, gusty winds following it. You can see how the trees are waving in the wind in downtown. We'll tell you more about these storms and track them for you, as well as look ahead to what happens behind them later tonight and tomorrow. Coming up.
Now, your WHNT News 19 weather where you live forecast with Chief Meteorologist Jason Simpson.
Several counties under severe thunderstorm warnings now. Jackson County, Madison County, Limestone, Lauderdale, Lawrence, and the far northwest corner of Morgan. Elsewhere, we have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect. That's the pink shading on the counties of the map there. So here are our individual storms that are warned for. We'll start with the one that's moving through Madison and Limestone counties. A very mean looking shelf cloud out ahead of this, that dark lowering in the sky. As it comes through, the wind may pick up to 60 or maybe even 70 miles per hour in spots in places like Harvest and Madison, down toward Research Park, over to Alabama A&M, Maston Lake area, Hazel Green, and everybody up and down Highway 231 here. If you are traveling from downtown Huntsville northward, this is not a good idea right now. Also have a pretty hefty storm over the city of Madison to south of Highway 72 that is working southward. We've also got this strong storm in Jackson County that has appeared to weaken a little bit close to Stevenson, but we see some development right over High Top on top of the mountain on Highway 79. That also coming southeast. Worst of that's going to miss Scottsboro just a little bit to the east as it tracks on through. We've got a lot of reports of what could be some fairly substantial damage here around the Shoals just in the past few minutes. Catherine Awasti of our Shoals Bureau reporting a lot of damage in that part of northwest Alabama. So let's kind of check in here on Lauderdale and Colbert counties, as well as Lawrence County, where that is moving through. The worst of the damage appears to be a lot of trees and power lines down on the Colbert County side of the river. We know that there's some debris on Huntsville Road in the city of Florence. That's on the east side of town over here. This strong batch of winds is coming into Town Creek and Hatton, Wolf Creek, Old Bethel, down toward Tharptown in northern Franklin County. So while we don't necessarily have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect, there is definitely cause for some concern here in Lawrence County and in especially the western edge of Lauderdale County too, here around the Rogersville area. Rogersville, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning, but this is the part of the storm that caused a lot of the damage farther upstream. We've got a lot of heavy rain and lightning between Rogersville and Anderson and Cherry Grove. Winds in here could be gusting up to around 60 or 70 miles per hour. And everything you see here on radar is moving down toward the southeast. So it should be in Russellville within just a matter of about a half hour or so. Then as you get into the Decatur, Priceville, Hartselle areas, just a little bit under an hour before those storms will be getting to you in that part of Morgan County. Our futurecast by 7 o'clock, a lot of this will be south of Highway 72, and by 8 o'clock, this should be south of Highway 278. A few more additional thunderstorms could develop in southern Tennessee. We don't really expect any severe weather out of that because the storms that are coming through right now very well taking away a lot of the instability, a lot of the fuel for those heavier storms. So overnight, a few scattered showers and storms are still possible, although I think...
Now, your WHNT News 19 weather where you live forecast with Chief Meteorologist Jason Simpson.
A lot of severe thunderstorm warnings in progress, so we'll just deal with this storm by storm. This is what's happening in Madison County, in particular South Huntsville right now, coming across Bailey Cove, now jumping over the mountain toward Highway 431 past Hampton Cove down into Owens Crossroads close to Hayes Nature Preserve. Very, very strong winds just out ahead of this batch of rain. The rain will start to let up a little in downtown Huntsville soon, but as it stands right now, the worst part of the wind within this storm is now moving through South Huntsville. It's come right across 431, 4 Mile Post, down Whitesburg, down Bailey Cove, into the Farley community. South end of Redstone Arsenal, this is Martin Road. You can follow that right there. And then over on the other side of the Arsenal, out here close to Zert Road and into the city of Madison, quite a few reports of some trees down, some power outages. Winds have been gusting upwards of about 60 miles per hour in that area. So the way it's been working with these storms is we've actually seen them ramp up and then quiet down just a little bit here and there. We had a warning up for Jackson County a few moments ago, but now we have a new severe thunderstorm warning that is in progress for DeKalb County. So we'll kind of take a look at that one. We'll move the map over so that you can. This storm that is up here close 17 right there. That's where we've got some powerful winds. We may also have some strong, well, obviously we have intense lightning. We also could have some fairly sizable hail. What's happening here is Alabama Highway Payne exit. So this is moving south down toward the Payne Air. Southern Franklin and southern Lawrence, they're moving out of areas, but there's still some very strong wind moving down toward Marion and toward the northern part of Winston County, too. The way that these storms are moving, it's at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So what's coming through Decatur and Hartselle right now, it's not going to be long before that is down in the far southern part of the county. Here's Decatur. The worst of this is past Athens, but on I-65 and Interstate 565, terrible drive right now, winds 50 to 60 miles per hour, working down in the direction of Lacey Spring, Union Hill, and towards Somerville, also into Hartselle. Very, very strong winds coming through there as well. Everything here moving to the southeast at about 35 miles per hour. By 7 o'clock, most of it's going to be fairly close to Highway 278.
Thank you, Jason. Of course, many of you are sharing some of your storm photographs with us tonight. Here's a look at a view from Alexander Wilkin. And we want to thank each of you for showing your view of these severe storms as they roll through. Just do it safely.
And Dwayne Wallen also emailed in some pictures. These were taken from the Super Target on University Drive in Huntsville. Again, thank you. And as long as you can, please do keep those pictures coming in. You can email us at photo@WHNT.com or tweet us using the hashtag ValleyWX. It helps us tell this important weather story.
Multiple severe thunderstorm warnings are still in effect for DeKalb, for Madison, Marshall, Morgan, Lawrence, for Marion and Winston as well. Severe thunderstorm watch for everyone else. So here's the radar. These clusters of intense thunderstorms doing a lot of damage. We've got this one that has just come through Huntsville. At least 2 confirmed house fires from Huntsville Fire because of the lightning. And it's most intense in South Huntsville, moving into Lacey Spring, getting some reports on social media that the wind is just howling through Lacey Spring now. We've also got some strong winds working into Marshall County, mainly the western edge of the county, Oleander, Arab, down toward Ruth and Hogjaw, into Morgan County too. Very strong storm approaching Hartselle. Strongest storm in DeKalb County is between Henniger and Mentone, and it's moving down to the south in the direction of Fort Payne, so you're in the warning too. Then we also have these strong storms moving out of Franklin and Lawrence down toward Haleyville and Hamilton. We'll be here watching this, and we'll keep you updated throughout the evening as these storms continue to progress on down to the south. Jerry and Melissa.
All right, thank you very much, Jason. And we are staying on top of the storm damage reports coming in from across the valley.
Yeah, including what's happening in Florence. Police report a dock is dislodged from McFarland Marina. Officers rescuing boaters now. We have a crew on the scene. Crews across the valley keeping an eye on this situation as it evolves.
And of course, once again, if it is safe for you to get out and take photographs of storm damage in your area, do so, but just make sure it is safe.
Please do be safe.
A strong wave of storms rolled through the Tennessee Valley today, producing wind gusts of more than 70 miles per hour and causing at least 2 lightning-related fires in Huntsville.
Now, this is time-lapse video from Marshall County all the way to downtown Huntsville. And as you can see, the storm really wasn't letting up.
Things are a little bit quieter now, though. Chief Meteorologist Jason Simpson joining us now. Have the storms moved on out of the area?
Wave 1 is finished. Wave 2 will not be quite as intense as what has already happened here around the valley. If you're looking to the north tonight, and since the sky has already cleared, you may be able to see some distant lightning up close to Cookeville, Tennessee. Those storms will work down this way, but the ones that have just come through, they robbed us of a lot of the energy that we need for strong and severe storms, just like what we had earlier. Now, the really active weather has shifted down to the south, and those storms have dissipated, but the wind is still blowing behind that individual line of storms. It's working into Autauga County and Elmore County, Montgomery County, down around the capital. We've got this area of thunderstorm action from Nashville over to Cookeville, Cumberland Plateau. You can see the lightning, but we do not expect these storms to be severe. Right now, it is.
Jason, the storm system caused at least 1 death. The Coleman County Emergency Manager reports a man was killed when a tree fell on top of him. It happened just after 7 o'clock along County Road 1135 near the West Point community.
And across the Tennessee Valley, there are trees and power lines down. Take a look at this photograph. Lieutenant Ivy with the Sheffield Police Department tweeted this to Jason, saying there are close to 15 houses in the area with trees on top of them. WHNT News 19's Catherine Awasti begins our team coverage of the storm aftermath live from Sheffield.
Clarissa. I'm actually here in that area where those houses have the most damage here in the riverfront, River Bluff area. But as you can see behind me, there are crews, emergency crews out here blocking the entrance to that area. I haven't been able to go back there and see the damage yet. And there's also cones out around the area too, preventing us and keeping us safe from getting in touch with those live power lines that are around here. Street crews are out here working in the pitch black because a lot of the power is still out around here, and the storm really took most of the shoals by surprise. Straight line winds took a toll on the shoals. Not even 10 minutes passed before damage reports came flooding in. Officials at Florence Harbor Marina confirm a line snapped on a dock which hit the river bottom restaurant and left live power lines in the water. Then to Robin Hood Drive in Florence, an elderly couple is okay, just a little rattled after this massive tree landed on their home. Neighbors say this is the second tree in 2 months to snap and hit the house. Then in 7 points, downed lines shut down Royal Avenue. Crews working the scene say that may be the reason the traffic lights at the main intersection were out. There's still a lot of power, traffic lights out in the area. Cloverdale Road, Crocs Creek Parkway, all those traffic lights are still out. Treat them as four-way stops, and as you can see, pay mind to these emergency crews out here preventing you from going and making contact with those live power lines. For now, we're live in Sheffield. Catherine Awasti, WHNT News 19.
All right, Catherine, thank you very much. And many of you have sent us images of the storms as they roll through your community.
And many of the pictures, they're just breathtaking. WHNT News 19's Greg Screws has a look at some of those pictures that you took tonight.
Absolutely. Two things. First, thank you folks for sending us pictures. And second, only get the pictures when it's safe to do so. So take a look at this. A fantastic lightning strike near Low Mill. Thanks, Yuri Ozaki, for letting us share that picture. Next, now this looks like something from the movie Poltergeist or Ghostbusters. Willie Harris sent us this. It's from the Harvest area. And this picture is from Jenny Staub. Now, this picture, frankly, gives me chills. It's from the Publix on Jeff and Highway 53. The April 27th tornadoes went through about 500 yards to the right of where that picture was taken, Anderson Hills across the road. Now, those are still pictures. So let's add some sound and fury to this. This from the Sam's Club on South Parkway here in Huntsville. Cue the sign. This video sent to us by Tammy Helmuth from the South Huntsville Sam's Club. Thank you, Tammy. And this video sent to us by Jeffrey Scarborough. Jeffrey caught this in South Huntsville. The rain coming down in sheets almost sideways. Check out this incredible slow-mo of lightning. This is from Coteco in Morgan County. Anthony Stevens sent us this, and thank you, Anthony. The lightning twisting, turning, and snaking across the night sky. And then there's the calm after the storm. Many people send us sunset snapshots like this one from Blake Williams in Limestone County. And if you ever want to send us pics or video, again, be very careful. Make sure it's safe to do so, but you can send them to photo@WHNT.com.
Thank you, Greg, and be sure to keep up to date with the weather where you live by using your smartphone or mobile device. Download the WHNT News 19 news and weather apps to stay informed about the weather, and you can find the apps for free in the Apple Store or on Google Play by just searching WHNT. That is just one of more than 8,000 lightning strikes we saw this evening as a strong line of storms moved across the Tennessee Valley. And one of our employees, Richard Best, shot this video from the Colonial Grand at Edgewater apartment complex in Madison. Check out the rain right there as it makes its way across the lake. As you can tell, it was coming down hard. The good news is we've quieted down from where we were earlier, but we still got some more rain on the way.
We still had lightning over the Tennessee Valley even as these storms were passing south of Gadsden, moving into Anniston. Look at this. This was from Hazel Green, or about 8 o'clock this evening. Thanks to Jerry Perkins for that. These are what we term anvil crawlers. They're happening way back behind the storm, high up in the atmosphere, several thousand feet above the ground. So if you saw those continuous flashes of lightning and the streaks like that hour after hour, even after these passed by, It's simply because the storms were so strong. Watch this. 75 miles separated Hazel Green and those storms at the time that photo was taken. They were already passing south of Albertville down toward Gadsden. Now the storms are gone, but if you're in Hazel Green or High Top or northern Lawrence County, northern Limestone County, you can probably see some lightning far to the northwest tonight, and that's because they're trying to move this direction. Check this out. Over 2.5 inches of rain, 2.75 to be exact, in Henniger, thanks to Lowell Justice for that report. Had several reports of wind damage around the shoals, and some of it was pretty significant. You saw Catherine Awasti's report earlier. Numerous trees and power lines down in Florence, in Town Creek, Sheffield, Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals, Leeton, even in Russellville we saw some wind damage. Some large trees came down there. In Madison County, what might be some of the more significant damage happened just south of the airport, south of the runway, in the New Haven community around the Willow Bend subdivision. A billboard was knocked down on Waltray on a highway. Several homes in the Willow Bend community sustained some damage to roofs and air conditioners, and it was all because of this big monster that came rolling in out of Tennessee, this big line of storms. Look at the green sky there just before the rain hits Montesano. At one point it was raining so hard that the tower lights reflected off the rain back into the camera lens on that time lapse. Just an incredible round of thunderstorms, some like we haven't seen in quite a while, and lucky for us, I don't think we're going to see it again for quite some time too. Isolated.
Thank you, Jason. Of course, as the weather calms down across the valley right now, a lot of people were getting out to assess some of the storm damage.
We have some video out of Meridianville, and as you can see, heavy rain was coming down. Our crews out in the field were reporting that visibility while driving was very limited, and there were countless reports of trees littering roads tonight. This big branch came down on Fagan Springs Drive near the Waller Road intersection in Huntsville. You can see the branch cracked and blocked the street, making it impossible to drive by.
And let's talk about the wind that came through with those storms. Jason was telling us earlier tonight that some of the winds could have been 60 to 70 miles per hour. They were strong enough to cause some power poles to lean in South Huntsville. This one's on Whitesburg Drive in front of the Whitesburg Animal Hospital. Huntsville police were on the scene to make sure that people on the road stayed safe.
Overnight rainfall. Look at all the local storm reports. We'll detail one here near Decatur with numerous trees and power lines down throughout the city. That occurred just before 7 o'clock yesterday. Currently.
Well, thank you, Ben. Of course, we do our best to keep you safe in all kinds of severe weather. Our meteorologists are working very hard all the time to keep our Valley WX blog updated with all the latest weather forecast information. Now, you can stay aware by going to our weather blog at valleywx.com.
Yesterday was, of course, a good day to pay close attention to valleywx.com, and many of you have sent us weather photos of the storms as they roared through your community. We want to thank you for submitting those pictures to us, and let's take a look at some of the best ones you sent now. Here's an intense lightning strike in Decatur. We want to thank Jeff Sanders for letting us share this picture. It really is incredible. Next, here's some sheet lightning in Florence. Cheyenne Vickery sent this one to us late last night. And finally, here's a nice shot after the storm was over in Mentone. This picture is from Jenny Stokes. We want to thank all of our viewers who took the time to send us photos and videos. And if you want to do that, you can join the fun too through our app or send them to photo@WHNT.com. Viewer video. WHNT News 19 viewer Blake Cowdis shared this footage with us on Facebook. It's worth another look. You can see a big bolt of lightning, there you go, during last night's storms in Scottsboro. And Ben Smith joins us now for Weather Where You Live.
So much lightning last night, several reports of damage as well. Thankfully, things calmed down today and temperatures aren't nearly as warm compared to this time yesterday.
Good morning, it's 5:30. Thank you for watching WHNT News 19 this morning. I'm Steve Johnson.
And I'm Alexandra Carter, filling in for Michelle Stark.
All right, just take a look at your screen right now. We captured the storm with our camera on top of Montesano last evening, I should say, as it moved across Huntsville. It brought rain, strong wind, and plenty of lightning. Cleanup will be getting in full swing this morning across the Tennessee Valley. I saw a few limbs on the ground when I drove to work early this morning. It was windy, Ben.
It was very impressive, especially when that gust front came through. The gust front is just an outflow of the thunderstorms, and when it's off in the distance, and that temperature can drop off real quick. It dropped from like the upper 90s down into the low 80s pretty quick.
And I got to tell you, coming to work this morning, it was so much cooler.
Definitely.
At 2:30 this morning than it has been the last few days.
Oh yeah, it's a nice cool down.
Yeah, hey, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Anything we can get. Mid to upper 60s for some spots this morning. Let's go all the storm reports from yesterday. These are basically from the National Weather Service, and there's several more reports that weren't even reported out there, including, check out that one from Collinwood there in the Wayne County in southern middle Tennessee. A 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. Several reports of some trees down in and around Madison, and even Decatur had reports of lots of trees down at 70 this morning, 73. Steve just sits there and nods.
I don't know. I'm going to sweat a bunch when it's 92, man. That's all I've got to say.
Yeah, all of us will. And one of Steve Johnson's favorite shots right there. There's a view from Lake Guntersville. I zoomed the camera in, and those folks have no idea on US 431 that they are on TV right now. No problem here at the Veterans Memorial Bridge, and that's Highway 69 there off in the distance. That takes you over toward Arab and Georgia Mountain. Current temperature, as you can see all the local storm reports from yesterday, reports of some very gusty winds, including around Collinwood, a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust, numerous reports of trees down, including Madison, and all those lightning photos you sent in. Very impressive last night. Cooler temperature.
Meteorologist Ben Smith is working hard on the weather where you live. Check out this viewer video.
Woo! I got that on video.
Yes, he did. WHNT News 19 viewer Blake Cowdis shared this footage with us on Facebook, and it's worth another look. You can see a big bolt of lightning. Wow, there it goes.
I got that on video.
During last night's
Well, I
storms.
think doesn't it hit the ground?
It looks insane.
Yeah. I mean, hit it between the lightning strike and where the guy's standing. Whoa, I got that on video.
You can hear that part. You just keep playing that over and over again. That's worth it, too.
And your girlfriend or wife says, let's go in the house.
Us meteorologists, we love that stuff. Mike Wilhelm and I were out shooting weather video and shooting lightning, and it was the same thing yesterday. And there was...
You were standing in your garage.
Yeah, that is a view from my garage, folks. There we go. And we had some really cool lightning photos yesterday. Of course, Mike Wilhelm, one of our distinguished storm chasers. And you can see all of our pictures on our blog, valleywx.com. And Kenny Duckett just sent this one in. He's also one of our storm chasers. A lot of times when you have these thunderstorms that move on by, they create some very beautiful sunsets, and we had several of those in the Tennessee Valley. There's a view from Montesano. Us meteorologists, we love that stuff. Mike Wilhelm and I were out shooting weather video and shooting lightning, and it was the same thing yesterday. And there was...
You were standing in your garage.
Yeah, that is a view from my garage, folks. There we go. And we had some really cool lightning photos yesterday. Of course, Mike Wilhelm, one of our distinguished storm chasers. And you can see all of our pictures on our blog, valleywx.com. And Kenny Duckett just sent this one in. He's also one of our storm chasers. A lot of times when you have these thunderstorms that move on by, they create some very beautiful sunsets, and we had several of those in the Tennessee Valley.
Around this time yesterday that we heard the first rumblings of storms here in the valley.
And 24 hours later, plenty of damage left behind. It got pretty noisy. The city of Sheffield may have gotten the brunt of the storm, with dozens of homes damaged and power lines down all over the place.
And WHNT News 19's Catherine Awasti has been surveying the aftermath and has more from Colbert County.
Since Tuesday evening, you can hear the roar of chainsaws throughout the city of Sheffield. City crews worked through the night to clear impassable roads.
They've been busting it since yesterday afternoon. I saw one lineman with the utility. He was here yesterday afternoon, and I saw him this morning. I said, "You've been working all night?" And he said, "Yeah."
Sheffield Mayor Ian Sanford says once the roads became somewhat passable, he was able to get out and survey the damage. River Bluff Drive and the area surrounding it may have been the hardest hit.
From yesterday afternoon when it was still light and then getting a better assessment this morning, yes, we did get hammered.
Like many other residents, Sanford rode out the storm inside his home. He says he's amazed how 45 seconds of wind could cause so much damage. Sanford says it will be days before they finish cleaning up the debris and get power restored to everyone.
I really feel sorry for those that had more devastation, and to this point, I haven't heard of anybody being injured, and that's the blessing that we all hope for.
In Sheffield, Catherine Awasti, WHNT News 19.
And the American Red Cross has set up a disaster assistance shelter inside the Sheffield Recreation Center.
Officials have confirmed at least one tornado from last night's storms, an EF0 near Huntsville International Airport.
And that left behind a mangled billboard near Beetle Lane in Wall Triana. The tornado lasted about 2 minutes and left behind damage mostly to roofs, fences, and small sheds in the area. Chief Meteorologist Jason Simpson here now.
Thanks, Jason. Last night's storms produced quite the lightning show. WHNT News 19 received a handful of videos from viewers showcasing the large bolts. And although lightning is not safe, its fascination seems to outweigh its dangers for some people. As WHNT News 19's Hannah Ward shows us, researchers at UAH study lightning strikes daily, working to uncover the mystery surrounding the fascinating flashes.
The unknowns in life spark curiosity.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Lightning could be Mother Nature's best kept secret.
We still don't understand how lightning is actually initiated.
Unique studies going on at UAH strive to find answers.
Everybody sees lightning, but it's not until you slow it down that you really see lightning.
Intense equipment allow researchers to capture these fierce flashes.
So every flash that we capture, every flash that we measure, we get to understand lightning just a little bit more.
They're not only able to study the physics side of the research, but they're also able to analyze what those lightning strikes are saying about the storm and how that storm can affect you. Discovering patterns, analyzing trends, and tracking distance.
We have cases where lightning actually gets started south of Guntersville and will come to ground around New Hope. That's 50 or 60 miles, something along those lines.
Rare research.
I think that we're kind of a secret that this sort of lightning research is going on just right here in Huntsville.
Leading to fascinating discoveries.
After these days, we sit down and start looking at the videos and we go, did you see that? No, did you see that? We go, what does that mean?
In Huntsville, Hannah Ward, WHNT News 19.
Now, although lightning strikes are captivating to watch, researchers want the public to remember the dangers of thunderstorms. The key thing to remember: when thunder roars, go indoors.
A lightning lit up the skies last night, and while many of us may have flinched at the sight of it, researchers at UAH saw it as an opportunity. They say the patterns and trends of the lightning strikes can help them better understand how future storms may affect people. UAH is even home to a special lightning team, part of the Global Hydrology and Climate Center. Between that heavy lightning and those high winds, we saw it all last night, and for one Sheffield family, it was all much too close for comfort. WHNT News 19's Catherine Awasti shows us how they narrowly avoided serious injury, possibly death.
For the last 24 hours, Austin Koch and his family have been forced to stare at the devastation left behind from Tuesday's storm. Austin says his family was in their kitchen trying to decide what to eat when his sister noticed the sky was turning black outside.
We saw the trees starting to fall a little bit, so we just ran to the basement.
Hunkered down in a back corner, Austin says it was one of the worst experiences he has ever been through.
We're sitting there in the basement and we see tree left and right just falling down.
After the storm passed, Austin says they walked back upstairs to find a tree right through the middle of their kitchen.
And that's the scariest part about it. Like, we were just there a couple of minutes ago, and if we hadn't left when we did, we probably could have gotten killed.
But despite all of the damage, the Koch family is still grateful this evening they made the quick decision to move when they did. In Sheffield, Catherine Awasti, WHNT News 19.
A number of other homes around Sheffield also suffered serious damage. The Red Cross has set up a disaster assistance center at the city's recreation center. Officials urge anyone in need of help to register.
WHNT News 19 does weather. Might think. WHNT News 19 does weather like no one else.
Sometimes with these summertime storms, that is a good indication that we're about to have some very strong winds.
We answer your questions and look out for you. Equipment and gear? Yep, we've got that too.
A lot of lightning in this storm, so let me tell you about Live Alert 19.
Live Alert 19 is top of the line. What makes our job better is we're doing it for you. And you, and you too. WHNT News 19